All right, I want to welcome you. I'm so delighted to be back with you or to be with you if this is your first time. And in fact, how many of you are here for the first time? Type in the chat box and let us know if this is your first time attending one of our sessions. We would love to know. I have set the chat box so just the host and the hostess that can see your responses. And I did that on purpose. And I did that because I want to make sure that the distractions are not taking you away from everything that we're doing. All right, Sylvie, she was with me in Making a Million Look Small. Wow, that was a long time ago. I'm actually writing that book in 2025. So, how many of you are here? JJ, love your work. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Okay, how many of you are here? Type in the chat box if you're here for the first time. And then for those of you that are not here for the first time, all right, Valerie, good to see you too. Okay, an old pro is of course Michelle Snyder, that I know. Lynn is here for the first time. Welcome, Lynn. You're amongst good friends here. Okay, so those of you that are here for not necessarily the second time, could be the 25th time. Why are you here? What caused you to decide to join our event today? Just type in the chat box. Like, what was it that just caught your attention? I mean, what we've really done here is we've asked you to share your time with us. And this is, as I look at it, as an investment in you. That's really what we're talking about here. You're making an investment in you. And it is absolutely the best investment that you can ever make is that investment in yourself. Okay, so Sylvie says, I need a lift and accountability. Perfect. Okay, good. I like that. Sean says, let's take 2025 and turn it into 2020 Thrive. I love that. Mona says, such a great timing to talk about goals. Perfect. You're absolutely right about that. I love that you said that. Keith says, I'm aspiring to work with a great Peggy McColl, who's the most wonderful leader the world so desperately needs. Thank you, Keith G. Well, I'm looking forward to working with you. Charles says, I need to make an income transformation in 2024. Does anyone else have a desire to make an income transformation in 2025? I think he meant 2025. Hunting for pearls, says Mark Wallace. I love your dedication, Mark. To be inspired for the new year. I feel confused in the fast moving society. One cannot have enough of this information. Very true, Sherry. Connie says, I need to create 2025 as my best year ever. All right, I like that. I'm here to solidify my lessons and get motivated. Valerie, I discovered you yesterday, been busy for a while in personal development, but your style talks to me. Love that, Valerie. Grateful to be here to be of service to you because I'm always inspired when I hear you, Peggy. Okay, Sean says yes. Heidi says yes. You need to feel more comfortable with money. Okay, perfect. I love that. This year is a transition year, says Steph. Perfect. Ooh, exciting times for you, Steph. I want my income transformation in 2025. Elle says Peggy is incredible. That's the whole reason. Thank you, Elle. I appreciate that. Jumpstart 2025 for another amazing year, income increasing more for freedom. I love that. Ultimately, that is what many people desire to have is more freedom. It's not necessarily the money that they want. It's the benefit of having the money is really what they're looking for. All right. Patricia says, I love being in your world. I was also in Making a Million in a month. Joan says, yes, I want to make a big transformation. Love that. Keith, I feel like a trillionaire. I need to act like a trillionaire. I take actions as a trillionaire. Laurette, transform myself in the best me. Love that. Absolutely. We're going to be talking about that today, in fact. Michael says, I do absolutely have a desire for increase and abundance. Miriel, I need to do more. Okay. All right. Well, let me go back over here. Okay, I'm going to turn back on the chat box so everyone can see it. Kayla just sent me a message and said that her and Roddy weren't able to see it. So thank you, Kayla. I appreciate you letting me know about that. Okay, good. Well, while I'm here with you, I don't know if you noticed, but I've changed my slides as well. So I put me inside the slides. It's a new feature that I learned recently, and I thought I'd give it a try. It's a little bit odd because what I'm looking at on my screen is me talking to me, but that's okay. I'm definitely able to get past that. So, today we're talking about you. We're talking about your incredible 2025. We are still here in 2024. So, absolutely, this is the perfect time. Every year I usually do an event around this time of year. Sometimes it's one event, one day event. But when Roddy and Kayla and I were planning the event for you for this time of year, this New Year's Eve, New Year transition period, we decided that there's so much content that we really want to go over. We decided that we're going to spread it over 3 days. And so on my first slide there, you saw that the best investment that you can make in you, this is really what you're doing here today, is you're making an investment in you. Now we're here to serve you. That's why I showed up here today. That's why Kayla showed up. That's why Roddy showed up. That's why I feel I'm put on this planet, is to serve you. And I'm going to serve you. But it really is up to you whether you commit to these goals and whether you're choosing to follow through. So what we're going to do with you here in this period of time that we're going to have together is going to be give you some understanding, some basics, some depth perhaps, and guidance for you to be set up so that you absolutely do have the best year ever. So when I had asked a moment ago, what is your reason for being here? And receiving all those answers. And I love Marion says, I want more money to help others. Well, this is brilliant because it's important to understand and know what you want. And that's the purpose of today's event. It's all about clarity, clarity for how you want and choose to live your life. Before we got on the call today, before we actually hit the record button, I was very blessed to see some friends here that I haven't seen for a while. June, who you can see in the top row if you're looking at the screen. And so I unmuted June's line. I asked her how Vermont was because I knew she had gone up there for the summer. And I know June because I've been blessed to serve her. And she is somebody who's very committed to growth, very committed to living her life the way she desires to live her life. I've done private mentoring with June, and she was telling me earlier, this was completely unsolicited. She said, because of these teachings, that she's been able to design her life the way that she desires. But she's here today. And I think that's impressive. I think it's impressive that you're all here today because you're here today because you have a desire. And I believe that inherently within you, you know there is more for you. There's more that you can have. There's more that you can do. There's more that you can experience. Or as we saw with Lorette's comment, there's more who you can be and become. Like Keith was saying, acting and thinking as a trillionaire. It's one thing to feel these things and to claim them as our outcomes, but it's a whole other experience to live as if. We're going to be getting into the living as if part as we dive deeper into day 2 and day 3. So we made a big promise to you, and we're going to keep our promise. But what I'd love to ask of you is to really participate. When I am asking questions and asking for you to put some comments in the chat box, if you would please, kindly do that, that would be wonderful. Also, do your best to try not to distract others as well, like sending private messages or whatever. I really want to keep the focus here on what the topic is. And as Roddy had mentioned before we actually hit the record button, I'm definitely here to take questions as well. So if you have questions, we're going to absolutely have some time to address any questions you may have. So the way that I typically design the presentations is I'll do the presentation, then I open up for questions or discussions or even laser coaching if you're looking to have a little more guidance on something specific for you. Okay, so that's our flow for our time here together today. So what we've done is we've allocated 2 hours today, 2 hours tomorrow, and 2 hours on Thursday. I really want to encourage you to be here for the entire time, okay, the entire 6 hours that we're going to be together. It will definitely be worthwhile, worth your time to be here with us and invest this time together because we are here to help you live a greater, grander life, to help you live the life that you're destined to live, because I believe you're all destined to live the life that you would love to live. But it does take an investment. Now, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about the investment of time, the investment of energy. I think about June, who shared with us at the beginning of this call. The only reason why June is experiencing a much more rewarding and fulfilling life is because She invested in herself and followed through. All right, it's important to follow through. I began my study in January 1979. It was a long time ago, 46 years to be precise. And I continue to invest in myself, and I will forever, because I know that there's so much more that I can be. There's so much more that I can do. There's so many more ways that I can help you. This year, I'm thinking of 2024 almost in the past right now. I was about to say last year, but this year I made a decision to invest in myself and my education. And I went through a doctorate program, which I've already submitted my dissertation and expecting the results back any day. But I had to get a bachelor's degree and then a master's degree, and then do the work for the dissertation for the PhD, and that's all being done. That was an investment of time. It was an investment of money. It was a definite investment of energy. But all these investments that we make, you being here today as an example, all have positive returns, really positive returns. Now, I know in the stock market, you can put your money in the stock market, or you could go to a casino and you can put your money on a number, on a roulette table. There's no guarantee, absolutely no guarantee that you're going to be rewarded or receive a gain as a result of that. But I will tell you, I know with complete 100% certainty, there is a guarantee when you invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself and you do apply yourself, there will be positive ripple compounded interest returned back to you. So I wanted to start this call today by complimenting you on making the investment in yourself, complimenting you for being here and for ensuring that you're following through as well. So this session, what we're doing here is we're going to talk about the clarity of your vision. And so when we ask the question, or when I asked the question earlier of, what's your reason for being here? Some of the responses actually included clarity of the vision. And that is things like increase in income. Now, we're going to talk about even getting better on that, because we could say, I'm grateful that in 2025, I've had an increase in income, and you could earn $1 more or £1 more or whatever currency you're involved in. And that would absolutely have you increase your income. But we're talking about getting specific with what you want when you know specifically what you would love. Now, you may not know specifically, and I'm going to give you some different examples and share some stories on that as well. But think about this: no stress, no overwhelm, and no guesswork. You see, I have found, sometimes by trial and error, that it's wonderful to stretch yourself, but it's not always wonderful to experience the stress that might go with it. I'll give you an example of that. Back in 1995, I made a decision to purchase a home, and I was going through a divorce at the time. I had no idea how I was going to pay for this home, but the desire was there. Now, what was fascinating with this experience is I knew enough by that point in my life, I knew enough what I needed to do. And I also understood the role of the universe. You see, the universe always has your back. The universe is there as a feedback mechanism and saying yes to your every desire, the desires that you're expressing from your heart. So I knew that I didn't have to know how I was going to do it, but I knew that I had to make a decision that I was going to do it. And so I made a decision to purchase a home when I had no money and no idea how I was going to do it. And I took one of these, a pen, and I signed a legally binding contract that basically said, well, I was now committed. And I felt an enormous amount of stress. I actually did. So the truth is this: when you're stretching yourself, it's not that it's not going to be there. It's not that you're not going to experience the discomfort. You will experience the discomfort. But when you understand it and you know that that is simply a part of the process, then you also should know that you can turn that around. You can deal with it. Because here's what I want you to really hear. I want you to really understand this. You are in control of your emotions at all times, or you have the ability to be in control of your emotions at all time. Whether you're choosing to control them or not, whether you feel out of control, it's like, oh, I just can't handle it, I'm stressed or whatever. And maybe you've been there. I've certainly been there. I know what that's like. Maybe you know somebody who's also like that they're stressed and they're thinking, oh, I really want this, but is it worth it? Like, is it worth the challenge that you have to go through? Well, the truth is you don't have to have the stress. You don't have to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to feel the anxiousness. You can choose a different thought that will produce a different emotion. And that's a matter of switching. Now, we're going to get into more of that tomorrow in tomorrow's session of the managing of the emotions. But I want you to get really excited about this because there's no need for the stress. And even if you feel it, which you may or you may not, but even if you feel it, understand that you can change it. Because what's the opposite of stress? What is the opposite of stress? Calm, right? The opposite of stress is calm. You feel calm. Can you choose to feel calm? Of course. You're very likely feeling calm right now. There's no need for you to feel stressed right here, right now. However, when you make a decision, you're going to do something you've never done before, and it feels scary. I mean, the thought of going for my PhD at the age of 65, was that a scary idea? Well, maybe not the scariest idea that I've ever gone through, but I felt discomfort for certain. And part of the discomfort was from the amount of work that I knew that I'd have to do and the dedication and the devotion that I needed to the study, to dedicate to the study to accomplish what I needed to do. And sure, there were times as I was doing the work, I had the thought, you can bail, Peggy. You can get out of this right now. You don't even have to do this. But one of the things that I did, and this is not something that's applicable for every single goal that you set for yourself, but one of the things that I did was I decided that that was going to be my outcome. And I ordered this sign to be made for my office door that says Dr. Peggy McColl. I also told my publisher, who was publishing my 24th book, to put Dr. Peggy McColl on the cover of my next book. And I haven't received confirmation yet. Now, I did that because that's called leverage. You see, when you leverage yourself, in other words, you do something where you don't have a choice but to follow through, you will find a way. You're going to find a way. And so when I signed that legal binding contract years ago, yes, I felt the discomfort. Absolutely, I felt that, but I can teach you how to manage that. I felt it, but I also knew what was going on. Now, I knew what was going on because I understand the process of manifestation, understand the terror barrier and what happens when we approach it and when we start to go through it. Understand that we always have choice too, that we could go back if that's what we wanted to do, but we don't have to. So whether you've shown up today and you already know what it is that you would love or not, I'm going to ask you in a little bit to get clear on that. We're going to do a little exercise on that. Nonetheless, understand that when you really stretch yourself, and that's what I'm doing in 2025, and I made a decision a couple of weeks ago when I was getting clarity around 2025 and what it would look like for me and my business and accomplishments. And I set an objective. A battle occurred. And the battle was within my own consciousness. And what happens is this, and this is what I want you to understand and be aware of. You decide to do something. Let's say you're already thinking about that. Obviously, we're here to talk about that today. So you're thinking, okay. And I had this conversation yesterday with one of my clients, in fact, and she declared what her income would be. And I said, I know you could do so much more than that. And what she chose to do was double her income. Now, she's already in the 7 figures. So she said, I'm going to double my income. And I said, I really believe you could do more than that. But the question is this, do you want it? Is that something that you would love? And then she said, yes. And I said, here's a suggestion for you. And I gave her another goal, but it has to be her goal. She has to accept it. And you have to accept it as an accomplished fact. But what happens is this, you start to think about this goal, and this is very likely what happened in her mind. It could have happened after we got off the call, but in your mind, you start to play with this idea and you start to stimulate that idea and think about that idea. And then up pops the old limiting beliefs. They're going to pop up and they're going to start to reveal things to you like, oh, this is going to be stressful. Or this is going to take an enormous amount of work, or do you really want to work that hard? Now, I want you to understand what's going on when that happens, okay? What's going on is this. The old beliefs are going to reveal themselves. They're going to pop up, all right? Just recognize that they're there. And what you can do is you can smile at them and you go, oh, I see what's going on here. Now, I call that welcoming. You can just welcome it in because it's revealing something valuable to you. What it's revealing that's valuable to you is a belief that you have that's not going to support you to get you to where you want to go. All right. So that's valuable. And you could just laugh at it and say, aha, I see what's going on here. And then you could say, I'm going to override you. I'm going to choose to create a new habit, a habit of consciousness, a habit of my mind conditioning. I'm going to choose to create this new habit that is going to support the outcome that I desire. That's a very important part of goal manifestation. More on that tomorrow. Today, we're talking about the clarity of the vision. But understand this. This is the greatest lesson that I ever learned from the late, the great, the wonderful Bob Proctor. You don't have to know how you're going to do these things in 2025 and beyond. You don't have to know how you're going to double or 10 times or 12 times your income. You don't have to know how you're going to buy that dream home and pay for it with cash. You don't have to know how you're going to attract your soulmate into your life. You don't have to know how you're going to become a New York Times bestselling author. You just have to decide. That's your responsibility. That's part of your responsibility. There's more to it than that, but absolutely you have to decide. But the mere fact that you thought it means that you can do it. You can absolutely do it. Now, I'm Peggy McColl, and if you don't know me, I know many of you do. You're very familiar with who I am and what I do. Over the next 56 minutes, I'm going to talk about breaking free from stress and the overwhelm so that you have a clear crystal vision of what you would love to create in the new year. Now, as I mentioned, I started studying in January 1979. I've run my business Dynamic Destinies teaching these principles for 30 years. In fact, we're in year 31 right now. I'm working on book 24. I have a contract for my 25th book. I have a trilogy being made into a movie. And then most recently have gone through a doctorate program. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that I am absolutely committed to goals. I love what I teach. I love these materials because not only has it changed my life, it has saved my life. And I say that very sincerely. There's been a couple times that these materials have saved my life. In the beginning, they saved my life because I was not wanting to live any longer. I didn't have any will to live. Now, that's a very, very deep, dark place to be. Now, I'm grateful for the experience because I can understand. I totally understand what it's like to be there. I totally understand what it feels like when you're all consumed in debt. I totally understand what struggle feels like. I know what that feels like. I've had the experiences in my life. And over 3 years ago, I also went through a health challenge when I'd been diagnosed with metastatic cancer and overcame a very challenging period of time in my life. And I wrote a lot about it in my new book, The Moment of Creation, which is coming out in 2025. But what I did to return to health, to be in a healthy body, was I declared it as an outcome. You know, my body is 100% healthy. Every cell of my body is healthy. That was a choice. That was an outcome. Now, I don't know whether anyone here is having any health challenges or whether you've been diagnosed with something that feels debilitating or perhaps there's no cure or whatever. But absolutely, you have the ability with your mind, which is very, very powerful, to change that, to change your physiology as well. And I know that's what I did. I will tell you that it was an enormous amount of effort. It was what might be known as hard work, but I'm glad I did. I'm very glad that I did. I wouldn't be here having this conversation with you right now if I had not focused on that. And the treatment was grueling, and I did not finish the treatment because I couldn't. I was too sick. In fact, I felt like it was the treatment that was killing me, not necessarily the cancer. But the truth is this, what's valuable, what's exceedingly valuable with what I teach is this. Yes, it can give you or lead you to live an incredible life, but it could also save your life. It could help you through extremely challenging times. And everybody has them. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. You might even be having them in your life right now, but you can get through it. You can get to the other side. Now, what's the other side? The other side is the freedom. The other side is the joy. The other side is the relaxing and the knowing that what you desire is already here. And oh my goodness, that feels wonderful. Like if you could just do that right now and just relax, just close your eyes, take in a deep breath, and relax and know that everything that you need is within you now. Everything that's requisite for the fulfillment of your desire is here right now. How's that feel? How does that feel? Type in the chat box how that feels. How does that feel for you right now, knowing that everything that you need is within you now? So, knowing that, why would you ever need a mentor? Why would you need another program? Why would you need guidance? Because it's not that you don't know this stuff. It's like, why is June here? June is an advanced student. June is somebody who knows how to take charge of her life. June is somebody who puts it into practice. But why is June here? For a refresher, right? Maybe she's going to hear something she hasn't heard before. Maybe she's going to remember something that she had forgotten from before. Like I noticed Ria had written in the comment too. Like I know Ria knows these materials. I've known Ria for many, 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 many years. And why is she here? Why does she show up? Why does Sherry Dunn show up when she's been studying these materials? Her mother was an example of this because it's a reminder. See, Oliver Wendell Holmes said, we all need an education in the obvious. What I teach is not always obvious, but it's common sense and it's applicable and it's practical and it's all designed for you to live a better and better life. And that's what we're here to do, is to help you live a better and better life. All right, great. So we're getting some answers here. Peaceful, says JJ. I love that. So what did JJ do? In that experience, JJ chose to feel an emotion that's empowering, that's positive, to feel peaceful. You see, this is what I was talking about earlier. We have the choice to feel these emotions, and we can bring them into our consciousness just like that. What I did was I made a recommendation, a suggestion to do something. You followed it. See, this is why guidance is so valuable. This is why we turn to the courses, to the materials, to the books, to the audios, to the videos. Why we do that is because it's not that we don't know. We've gone off course. We've gone off track. And the other truth is this: we weren't taught this as we were children. It'd be wonderful if we were, and I know many people have the desire to do that, but we're not taught this when we're young. So what we're learning or being reminded of is materials that aren't already deeply impressed within our subconscious mind. But that's what I want to do for you. I want to help you impress this into your subconscious mind so it's a part of who you are. So like we heard from Keith, not only have you claimed that that's your result, but you're walking and talking and feeling and acting like that's already who you are. I looked in the screen and I see Billionaire Pete is here. You see, Billionaire Pete, another graduate of ours, a wonderful man that I now call a friend, someone that I was blessed to serve in private mentoring. And Pete shared with me his desires, his goals. And I started calling him Billionaire Pete. I gave it to him as a fun name, a nickname, and it stuck. And now look how he shows up as Billionaire Pete. Don't you love that? He's owning it. He's not embarrassed by it or shy by it. You know, he shows up every day as I am, Valerie likes that, I am Billionaire Pete, right? Could you become Billionaire Keith or Billionaire Munsa or Billionaire Kathy or Billionaire Keith or Billionaire Donna or Billionaire Teresa? Of course, we could all choose. That's what we're here to do today, to choose. I really want to invite you to choose a better version for you of your life and who you are. It's waiting for you, absolutely waiting for you. Yeah, it's fun. Okay, I thank you, Keith. I love that. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. I love seeing all you guys here. It's fun to see your faces and look at your faces rather than look at mine as I'm looking at these slides here. But this is fun. I'm going to come back to you. We're going to just keep going back and forth and interacting and coming back. So we're also going to introduce you to something that I created recently called the McColl method. And so on day 3, so this is part of your encouragement to make sure you show up every day, we're going to give you something called the McColl method. And I'm going to share it with you when we get to there as well. In fact, I'm going to be diving deeper into the McColl method in a new program offering that we have, and I'll tell you about it today. It's called Destinies Mastermind. And we've got a few folks that are on the call right now that have already joined Destiny's Mastermind. And we just actually did an informal announcement about it yesterday. We're going to be formally announcing it this week. And in the Destiny's Mastermind, we're going to dive deeper into following the practices as taught and delivered in the McColl method. But really, what we're doing here and what we're inviting you to do is to bring out a greater and grander version of who you are. I remember Bob Proctor being my mentor and friend and teacher, and he'd be on stage talking about how incredibly powerful we are, as human beings. I remember back in 1985 studying with Louise Hay and her talking about, everything that you need is within you now and talking about the power that's within you. I don't think I really understood it, at that time, but I get it now. And I realize it now. It might have even been Neil Donald Walsh who helped me understand that at another level. But I want to invite you to experience a new version of you, whether it's as billionaire Pete has shown up to be that billionaire, to embrace the outcomes as you are the person that has manifested that. Because this is what happens when you create the identity of the person who has already accomplished the goals that you've set for yourself. You become that person. You walk as that person. You talk as that person. You feel as that person. You step up as that person. Everything about you becomes that identity. You create a greater and grander version of who you are. But you know what? It's messy at first. I just had this flashback as I was saying that to back in the 1990s when I started doing seminars and started to speak in front of groups, and it felt very uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable to me. In fact, I would sort of be behind the curtain as I'm being introduced and looking for a garbage can because I thought it was going to be sick to my stomach, or looking where's the exit door and just thinking I want to get out of here, and feeling that discomfort. But hiring people to help me with my stage presence and with my speaking ability, and just constantly working on it, honing in on it, studying other speakers, reading books as well. And all that did was it invited me to be a better speaker, excuse me, a better teacher, someone who could share the messages. And I'm all about simplicity. If you don't already know that about me, I'm about showing you the most simplistic way. And so these things that we're doing in our life, or the things that we want to create, must come from the version of you who is already that person. You're already that person who is the successful billionaire. You're already that person who is in the loving, happy, joyful relationship. You're already that person who has bought and paid for your dream home, or multiple homes, as Connie McIntosh has a desire to create. But this is really where the big gain is. The big gain in you deciding that your 2025 is going to be incredible is not that you're going to experience the increase in income or manifest these things into your life. The big gain is going to be who you become in the process. That's what happens. This is the big benefit, because what happens is you're going to make a change. You're going to make a change in your conditioning of your mind that will become permanent, right? It's always going to be a part of you because you're taking in this information, just like you're doing right now, whether this is new or not new. Now, I'm not working from a script. I never work from a script. So you'll never hear me saying the same thing over and over again, like exactly the same way, verbatim. It's always going to be new. Why I do that, why I freshen up my materials, why I love teaching new content is because I'm constantly expanding my own consciousness, my own depth, but I'm living it too. I'm applying what I'm learning. And this is important for any of you who are looking for a mentor or a guide who's going to help you. You want to find somebody who lives it and breathes it. And by their results, okay, consistent results. It's important to have those consistent results. I've seen people in this industry. I've been in my own business for over 30 years. I've seen people come and go. I've seen people since I got online in 1995. I've seen people put their flag in the ground, set up their internet business, earn a bunch of money, and off they go. Where'd they go? Why aren't they speaking anymore? Why aren't they teaching anymore? Maybe they just did it because they wanted to earn a bunch of money for a short period of time. And I'm not judging it. I'm just saying that I'm here for the long haul. I'm here to serve you so that you can become the better version of you, so that I can help you with whatever issues you're dealing with, so that I can help you get to where you want to go. But you have to know where you want to go. All right. So I'm definitely going to be opening up for questions in a little while. Now, I have a question for you. Are you ready to stop playing small and own your greatness? Are you ready? Type in the chat box if you're ready. I want to know that you're ready. Let me go and take a look at the chat box. Now, why I wrote that there is I know not everybody's playing small. There's certain people that are on this call that I'm very familiar with. I saw Mark Wallace. There he is. Mark's right there. He's been up since 3 o'clock in the morning and a lot of stuff going on at his home right now. He's not playing small. I don't see Mark as playing a small game in this world. He made a decision in 2024 to really step up. I wrote about him actually in my next book, The Moment of Creation. And what I love and appreciate about Mark is his commitment to his success, to his results. And he is an example of somebody who lives and breathes these materials. He really is. And the things that he's accomplishing are staggering. I'm sure it's staggering his mind. It's certainly staggering mine. Yeah, he's nodding his head, staggering my mind. And so what's happened here is Mark, like 80, and I know 80's on the call here too. 80, where are you? There she is. 80 Murrieta, who wrote the book Starter Husband. 80's the same. Like she came to me at the beginning of this year, 2024. We started working together in a private mentoring capacity, and I invited her to no longer play small. Not that she was playing small. I mean, this is a lady who already knew how to create success. She's what Bob Proctor would have called an unconscious competent, but now she's conscious and she's definitely competent. So look out, world, because there's going to be some pretty amazing things coming out of her in the new year. So I asked the question. I love the answers. Yes. Okay. I love it. Ella says, I'm ready. Yes, Ella. Beautiful. I love that. Beautiful. Callie too. I'm ready. I've been ready, says Billionaire Pete. Yes, I'm ready to level up. Beautiful. Okay. This is so good. I love seeing this. This is really a declaration of who you are. You're saying, I'm ready to be a better version of me. Hey, that rhymes. I'm ready to be a better version of me. Ready to be a better version of me. Ready to be a better version of me. And I'm ready to experience more. Because the universe is sitting there going, what would you love? What would you love? I'm your partner. I've got your back. I'm ready to help you get you to where you want to go. And so when you're ready, everything that's required will show up for you in your life. I love that. Jamie's here too. Good to see you, Jamie. Haven't seen you for a little while. Nice to have you back. The symbologist says, that's Michelle, says we have accomplished 3 new levels of success. Now for the next 3 for me. Absolutely. I understand what you're saying, Michelle. Michelle also decided to go for her doctorate last year and has also submitted her dissertation. And pretty soon we'll be seeing Dr. Symbologist as well. Keith says, universe looks at you like under a microscope and guides you every step of the way. Yeah, the universe is a feedback mechanism. It's a support system. It's a mirror reflecting back to you what's going on within you. And so let's use Billionaire Pete as an example. So when Billionaire Pete is living and acting and feeling as if he already is the billionaire that he is, then the universe responds accordingly because the universe says, yes, indeed. But here's what happens. This is where it gets really interesting. Now, we'll get into this more on day 2 and day 3, but here's what's interesting. And maybe some of you have experienced this. I certainly have. It's like you make the decision, you're going for it, you understand, I need to be aligned, I have to feel like it's already here in my life, you discipline yourself, and nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Has anyone had that? Like, what the beep is going on, right? You want to swear maybe, like, I don't get it. I'm doing everything right. Like, if I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me that question, I'm doing everything right. Why am I not, seeing the results? I'd have a lot of nickels, essentially. But the reason is if you're asking the question, you're not in alignment, right? If you're asking that question, you can't possibly be in alignment. Because you have to understand the gestation period for all of your goals, all of your desires to manifest in your life. But you got to keep going. You've got to be resilient, right, Kathy? I see Kathy in the top right-hand corner. She knows all about that. Kathy went through an incredible health challenge one that would debilitate most people. But no, no, no. She's like, Now she said, I'm stepping up. I'm choosing to live a greater and grander version of who I am. And look, she's here. And Kathy lives on the West Coast, and we have our classes at 6 a.m. her time. And 10 minutes to the top of the hour, there she is. She's on the class. Focused, focus, focus. And even though, just like I'm explaining right now, there's going to be times where you may wonder, why is it not working? Why is it not happening? Just understand you've gone off track. That's it. You've gone off track. Put yourself back on track. How do you put yourself back on track? Reminding yourself, it's in my life now. What would I love right now? I'd love this. Okay, what does that feel like? You go straight to feeling. It's a process, is really what it is. You're switching away from the negative, the destructive, and you're moving your consciousness over to what you want. And by doing that again and again and again and again, you're impressing it into your subconscious mind until it becomes a part of who you are. Okay, this is what we're talking about, the identity, the incredible identity of who you are. Are you guys loving this so far? Yeah, all right, good. I like the victory pose there, 80. That feels good, doesn't it? Yes. All right, let's go back to our slides. Yes, thank you, Elle. I appreciate it. Okay, this is fun. I'm having fun. Okay, so does it sound familiar? Type me in the chat box if this is familiar. You've got big goals, but you find that you're still battling stress or maybe overwhelm or maybe even confusion. Or you've tried setting goals before, but something always seems to get in the way. Or there's more for you, but you're unsure how to make it happen. Is that you? Type in the chat box. Just be honest, okay? It's really, really, really important to be honest. The other day, my husband and I were on our way back from my sister-in-law's place, and I said to my husband, Denny, I said, have you set any New Year's resolutions? And I was kind of asking him, in a humorous way, because my husband is not into these materials. Now, that sometimes is an interesting understanding. But the reason why he's not necessarily into these materials is he was raised in a very positive environment. He was really given good conditioning. And I'm so thankful that I attracted that man into my life. However, he did tell me in the fall of this year that maybe I should set a goal when he heard that I was going for my PhD. But nonetheless, here's what he said, and I want you to listen to this. He answered me and he said, they don't work. Resolutions don't work. Now, I know a lot of people think that, right? But it's not the resolution that doesn't work. It's the people. It's the people that don't stick with it. First of all, they never write them down. They don't commit to them, and they never create the disciplines that are necessary in order for them to manifest the things that they want. So of course they don't work. In fact, I saw something the other day, because I know a lot of people are really pushing programs this time of year and books and things like that. And I think it was an ad on Facebook, and someone had said, do you realize by February, most people have given up on their resolutions? It's true. It's true. Why? Because they don't have the discipline. They haven't been given the guidance of what they need to do. But that's where we can come in. We can help that so that you can eliminate those things. So what if you could create a clear vision and a simple, effective path that has you achieving your goals without that stress and overwhelm? Is that something that you would want? Is that something that you would be committed to learning how to do? More importantly, type in the chat box, yes, 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 if this is something that you would be committed to learning how to do. You see, I really want to see we've got 108, 128 people on the call. I'm looking for 128 yeses. There should be 128 yeses, 100%, says Jonah. I love that. Yeah. All right, good. Because if you haven't done it or you're not doing it now, then learning how to do that is very, very important. Okay, good. I love that. Okay, beautiful. More eggs here. All right, good to see you. This is fun. It's fun seeing some of these very familiar names. Okay, so I want to give you some examples of people that I've been blessed to serve. Now, I'm going to give you 3 different types of examples, but I want to use them as examples. Now, from financial struggle to abundance, here's what James said. I was stuck in a loop of debt and doubt, constantly chasing solutions, but never catching a break. Peggy's guidance on creating a vibrational shift in the now, rather than waiting for things to change, was a game changer. I align my energy with prosperity every day. Within 90 days, I landed a business deal that tripled my income. The shift wasn't external, it was all within me. Now, there's gold in that. Okay, there's gold in what you just read there. And this is why I chose to use the examples that I'm using. Stuck. Like if you're stuck in a loop and attempting to do things in the same way you've been doing them, you're likely not going to catch a break. But if you shift your energy, which is what we have control over, that's what vibrational shift means. You're changing the way you feel in the feeling of your desire is already here now. It is a game changer. It's absolutely a game changer. I believe my next book, The Moment of Creation, is a game changer. Why? Because that's what it's all about. It's about shifting your energy in the present moment to feel and embrace your success as already done. Now, what did James do? He said within 90 days, he landed a business deal that tripled his income. And it wasn't external. This didn't happen from some miraculous event. We're not talking about luck here. It was all within me, just like it is within you. The ability for you to go from financial struggle to abundance is absolutely within you. And I think you're ready for it, or you wouldn't be here, right now. Here's another one from Sarah. Health transformed by faith in the moment. I was overwhelmed by a long-standing health issue that doctors told me would take years to resolve. Kathy, who I referenced a moment ago, can understand this. She had been diagnosed with Parkinson's and completely transformed that. Gone. She met with her doctor this year. He couldn't believe it. Gone. But here's Sarah's story. After applying the principles Peggy teaches and fully stepping into the moment of creation, I began visualizing and feeling complete health. It's what I did when I went through my health challenge. Within weeks, not only did my symptoms subside, but my latest medical results stunned my doctors. I learned that miracles happen the moment you embrace the power within. You have the miracle, you create the miracle. The miracle comes from within. What miracle would you love? What miracle would you love in 2025? I want to help you manifest that. Let's look at this one, Emily. Manifesting love and fulfilling relationships. I longed for a meaningful relationship, but kept encountering the wrong people. After diving into Peggy's teachings on love and manifesting with heart-centered intention, everything changed. I began living as if I already had the love I desired, feeling gratitude and joy daily. Daily. All right. 6 months later, I met the love of my life. I realized the relationship had to form within before it could appear in my reality. You see, she waited 6 months, but she did the work daily. It took me 2 weeks when I decided to manifest love and I attracted my husband, Danny, but how long it takes is how long it takes. It took months before I manifested that home back in 1995. I started looking for a home in 94. But you never give up. You don't ever, 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 ever give up. Persistence is key in manifesting anything that you desire. So do you believe that anyone can achieve anything their heart desires, even if they don't know how? I want to know what your belief is on that. Do you believe that? Type in the chat box. Just type a yes or a no in the chat box. Do you believe that? I'm going to look at the answers now. All right. Yes, absolutely. Okay, good. Of course. I love that, Marion. Okay, I don't see any no's. Okay, good. I didn't really expect to see any no's. Oh, emphatically. Oh, I like that enthusiasm. L, that's beautiful. 100%. Okay, beautiful. Okay, good. All right. Let's go to the next question. Do you believe you can achieve anything your heart desires, even if you don't know how? Do you believe that you can do it? Honestly answer that question. Type in the chat box whether you feel that you could do that. Yes. Okay. Good. Somehow. All right. Like the honesty, Jamie. Thank you. Okay. All right. Beautiful. Good, Patricia. Thank you for the honesty. I love that. Okay. What Patricia said is some doubt. I love it. I'm certain there's more than just Patricia Yeah, I've done so much already, says Sean. Isn't that exciting? The truth is that, not everyone believes it. I'm going to help you believe it. I'll definitely help you believe that. But I want to come back to a comment that I saw here. Sean said, yes, I've done it so much already. You know what's exciting about what Sean wrote there is this. What I said earlier is that when you really apply what I'm teaching and you begin to experience these phenomenal things, as Sean has done. Now, Sean has been manifesting goals in his own life. He has manifested things for his family, for his nephews who are autistic, who were not verbal, but he chose to focus on that. He added that to his Power Life script, a goal for someone else, not him. And as of now, his nephew is speaking. Yeah, good job, Sean. Thank you, Jamie, for acknowledging Sean. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. Yes, now I believe in myself also. Okay, great, Valine. I love that. Beautiful. Okay, so when you believe, even if you only have a little bit of belief, right? It's something that is an emotional muscle that can be built, but it's built with the disciplines that you apply every day. Now, that is something that I teach, the livingness of your dreams into reality. So I'll tell you right now, if you think doing the same things over and over again are going to improve your results, not likely. Although, if you are doing the same things over again and you're like a Mark Wallace who's extremely disciplined, or 80 who is laser focused, and you're daily living it, then you are going to produce better results. But comfort zones are silent killers for growth. Now, I don't think anybody here is really in a comfort zone. I think you're all here to step up, to create a greater and grander life for yourself. But unless you learn and apply, nothing's going to transform, right? So staying in the learning is really, really important. That's why we do what we do. And I'm going to share with you a couple of ways that we can help you with that. Now, success will follow those who learn from proven mentors. You want to watch the results, not their words. Like, I know there's a wonderful place, this internet, where we have over 6 billion people online. And it's created an enormous opportunity for us to be served or to serve no matter where you are on the planet if you have internet connection. Like right now, Sean's in Malta. I'm in Ottawa, Ontario. We're in different countries, different parts of the world, but that's one of the blessings. The challenge is, how do you find the authentic ones? How do you find the ones that really not only know the material, but they live and breathe the material? You look at their results, right? I'm a pretty transparent person. I'm not hiding anything. Many of the people that are even on this call have been in my home. You know how I live. This is not baloney, and it's consistent, and it's growth as well. That's what we're talking about here, is growth. So the process to manifest is the same process. You may know it, you may have learned it. However, this is what I found over the many, many years of study. There still could be a struggle going on. Why? Because it could be one piece of the puzzle that you don't quite have right, or you could be on the wrong path. Or you could have several pieces of the puzzle that aren't working, or you could be going in the opposite direction of where you desire to go. The little distinctions make a big difference. Little distinctions make a big difference. We're going to get into some of those next. So I want to talk to you about really creating a vision for your remarkable year, 2025, with clarity. Now, what do I mean by clarity? Clarity is, it's not enough to just say, I desire to have a successful business. What does that mean? How will you know when you have a successful business? Is it a financial goal that you're working toward? And maybe that's part of it, but it's more than that. One of the things that we have often said in many of our events is this: your success is our success. I have a slide. It's been in many of my presentations. Your success is our success. I absolutely believe I wouldn't be in business today if I hadn't been or haven't been helping people succeed. It wouldn't take long before people go away. They run away in the opposite direction. But that's not the case. So we're here to help you succeed. So what does a successful business really look like? So when you start thinking about you creating greater success in your life, and as I referenced earlier, what happens is those paradigms start popping up. Things like, oh my goodness, that's going to take too much work. I don't want to work that hard at this stage in my life. Or I already have a job. Like when I already work 9 to 5. Like, how am I going to do this? Right? You got to understand that when those things happen, when you hear those thoughts that are not serving you occur, it's because they're already in there. It's because they're already a part of your consciousness, but you can change it. You see, you can create the whole dynamic of what your vision really looks like, how you would love to be living your life. I'm going to suggest to you, like, we're going to take some questions in the next little while, but I want to give you an assignment. I want you to get crystal clear, and this is a perfect day to do it. December 31st, get crystal clear on the vision of your life. But how you write it is this way. You write it as if it's happened already, as if it's a present tense in your life now. So let's use an example. Let's say there's somebody on this call that finances is a part of their goal. Being in a career that they find deeply fulfilling is part of what they desire, they're longing for. And at the same time, they may have a family or looking to attract someone into their life. So it's the balance of everything. It's not that they want to work 20 hours a day and not have any outside activities or any kind of social life. What they're looking for, the vision includes having fun, perhaps some travel, and be very clear on what kind of travel. First class, I've seen people write out their vision with things like this. And this is where I want to give you some guidance. Okay. Really listen in here. Okay. They'll say things like they have the ability to travel first class. We all have that ability, but are you doing it? Are you traveling first class? Are you staying in 5 or 6-star resorts around the world? Are you living the life of royalty? Are you living that? What does it really look like for you? Are you owning the vehicle? Not only do you live in that home, do you own it? What's it like? What does it feel like? What are the windows like? What's the flooring like? What are the ceilings like? Where is it? What kind of home is it? How is it built? Is it new? Is it old? Is it renovated? You get clarity on your vision. That's what we're here to talk about. I want you to get really clear on that. Okay, I want some people to share some of this tomorrow when we get to that point. Okay, so the 3 keys to your powerful vision is that you have a crystal clear picture of what this looks like. You know what your life is going to be like. You're seeing it in your mind's eye, and you're feeling the emotions of what that feels like. And you've built the foundation, that's your belief system, of living that life already. An example of that. You're thinking that, okay, and I'll think about Steph had written here earlier that it's a transition year. And I suspect I know what that means, for her and her career and her business. So what do you need to believe in order to have that happen and to have it go smoothly and to have it be wildly successful? What do you need to believe? Now, sometimes the answer to that question, what do you need to believe, is I need to believe it was smooth. I need to believe that it was easy. I need to believe that it was harmonious, right? It's not complicated here. Okay, so I'm going to ask you all, if you're willing to accept this mission, is to write down the vision for your 2025. I'm going to help you get there. All right, I'm absolutely here to help you get there, but you have to decide what that is. What is your vision for 2025? Now, maybe some of you already have a Power Life script, and that's fine. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Write it out again. This is a very positive exercise to do. Start from scratch. Take a piece of paper, just a journal like this, and write it out. You could type it. Yes, you could type it if you want to type it. That's perfectly fine as well. But what I'd love to see tomorrow is some of you share your vision with us, okay? Because we're going to take it to another level. All right, we're going to build the foundation for you to live that vision, for you to experience that vision, for you to manifest that vision, which I know you would love to do, right? So, question for you. What would your life look like 1 year from now if we're sitting here on New Year's Eve, 2025, and you're finally living the life that you desire to live? It's a very important question. This is going to lead you to write your vision. You might want to write that question down or take a picture of it with your phone right now. Just snap a picture. What would your life look like 1 year from now if we were sitting here on New Year's Eve and you're finally living the life that you're destined to live. What would it be like? Are you guys willing to do this? Let me stop the share here for a moment. Yes? Type in the chat box. Yes. Okay. Keith's going to do it. Yep. Jamie. Yes. Okay. Good, good, good. All right. Good. You know, as I said, I know some of you have already done this. You've already become very, very clear on what it is. It's a good exercise to write it out again. Okay. And just get very clear. Now, remember this. This is very, very important. You don't have to know how. You don't have to know how. The other thing that I want to remind you of is this. Your paradigm is going to put up a battle. Okay. They will. They'll start fighting you now. You'll start to hear things or feel things like, I can't do that. That's not going to happen. No. Now, I noticed here, Geo, thank you, Geo, for putting that in. I love that. Still living in the Highlands and have a large farm, a large home and a beautiful farm because I'm a millionaire. Okay. So what I would love, I love that. What I would love is I want to see expansion on that. Okay. A little more expansion on that. Tell me, like, even being a millionaire, like, do you have a personal net worth now of, a certain number of millions? What is your home like? Right? Describe it all. How are you feeling? Who's around you? Who are you celebrating with? Did you take a trip this year in 2025? Where'd you go? I'm going to Scotland, actually. I'm going to go meet Roddy in person. We've been working together for years. We've never met in physical presence, but I'm going there in July in 2025 to finally meet Roddy and to go to Scotland. I've never been to Scotland, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, Valerie says, I'm having trouble let go of the fact that I don't have an income due to invalidity. The how and the disbelief always get stuck in my mind. Okay, let me give you some guidance here if you're okay with this, Valerie. Number one is always, that's a universal, right? Get rid of that. Get rid of that word, okay? It's not supporting you. So what that did was it just revealed something to you. That's a belief. That can be changed. Absolutely can be changed. So you allow it. It's important to allow it to be easy and forget what your current situation is. That's something else I want to suggest to you. I'm glad that she wrote that in there. Forget where you currently are. What I asked you is, where would you love to be? Right? Forget the other stuff. Where would you love to be in 1 year from now? Forget the other crap. What would you love? Now, I happen to have a magic wand in my drawer right here. And I'm going to wave it, and I'm going to grant you all your wishes, okay? Now, we know that's just baloney, fairy tale stuff that's made up, but this is the way that you create, right? You imagine. What you're doing is, and what I'm inviting you to do, is use your imagination. Use your imagination to make it up, right? We're all making it up. Now, the reason why people continue to struggle or continue to be in their challenging situations is because that's what they're continually giving their energy to. We got to break that pattern. More on that tomorrow and the next day. In fact, before we go to questions, because I want to open up for questions right now, I have a couple more things to share with you. I have about 2 more slides, I believe, and then we're going to open it up for questions. So let's go back to our share. And then if any of you have a question or you want to ask me something specific that's relevant to you, get ready, because we'll definitely move to that part next. Okay. So the cost of not investing, like doing this work, can be more than the investment itself, right? So what will it cost you to not pursue your dreams? Now, of course, we don't want to go to the negative. Even as I was creating my slides for today, it's like, do you really want them to go to the negative? I think it's important because people will do more to avoid the pain than they will to gain the pleasure. So I don't want you to continue to struggle. I don't want you to not have income or to be alone or to not live the way you're meant to live. So how much more time, energy, and frustration will it take before you realize not investing is the most expensive choice? Isn't the real risk staying exactly where you are? It certainly was for me. And I know it is for many, many, many others as well. That's really where the risk is. The real risk is. I want you to understand that. Now, I'm going to share with you a couple of opportunities that we have that you can work with us. Now, you may be thinking before we even get to those slides, you don't have the money to do it. Here's what you have to do. You just have to ask yourself, do I want it? You'll find the money. You'll attract. Like when you decide you're doing something, you're going to find a way. So imagine stepping into 2025 with absolute clarity, confidence, and alignment. And what if you had the tools that condition your mind daily, as we saw with those examples, for success so it has you stay in harmony with your goals? So we're here to show you how to make that happen and guide you every step of the way. So we do have a couple of programs that we're going to offer. The first one is a brand new version of the mind conditioning program. I completely redid it. I revamped it. I extended it. It's 90 days now. It's called Mind Conditioning Mastery. We've opened the doors for enrollment. You can go there right now and secure your spot. We are starting classes this week. In fact, you can start immediately because the classes are already uploaded and you can dive right into the materials. And that is a 12-week program. We will be having live Q&A calls every month for the 3 months that you're in the Mind Conditioning Mastery program. Now, another program that we have is called Destinies Mastermind. This is a high-level, intimate experience for those that are really ready to go beyond their limitations and live the life that they're meant to live. That's Destinies Mastermind. That's 6 months. It's a 6-month program. And yes, it includes mind conditioning mastery as well. But we've enhanced, now this is brand new, Destinies Mastermind, but we've enhanced the offering because we're going to be having you submit things to us that keep you accountable throughout the entire program. And we've added a 2-day live event to this Destinies Mastermind. So this is all new starting this month. Okay, you can get yourself registered. I think for those of you that have been in our other programs, other high-level programs, you're going to be pleased to see the registration. We've intentionally kept this one low. There's a payment plan as well. But I'll talk a little bit more about those as we go along and relate it to the materials that we're doing over the next 2 days as well. But I want to suggest those of you who are here at the 31st of December to make a decision now, right? Successful people make decisions quickly and seldom change their mind. Make a decision now that your future self will say, thank you, thank you. You just have to think about what are your dreams worth to you, right? My husband was showing me something this morning on his computer. I don't even know what he was looking at, but I passed him in the hallway as I was coming into my office. And he said, look at the numbers here. And he was showing me the incomes, average incomes, and the percentage of incomes. And I remember back in the 90s, I was driving to an event and I was listening to something about the percentage of incomes. And I called my husband. I said, am I in the top 1%? He said, you're in the top 1% of the 1% income earners. And I've been there for decades. Now, if that's something you would love to get in the top 1% or 1% income earners in the world or in your country, I want to help you get there. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Now, I do have private mentoring available right now as well. We've got a number of people that are on this call that have been in private mentoring with me. And I have a couple spots available right now. And we've got 3 different levels of it. So you can choose, you can take a look. And what that means is I'm going to include some of the programs in this study, but we're going to have calls together, just you and I, over a period of time. So I have 3 months, 6 months, or the whole year of private mentoring available right now. Okay, so you can check that out by going to Mentorship with Peggy. And you can write that link down, or Roddy will put the links in the chat box as well so that you can access them. Okay, we've got some questions. Thank you, Roddy. He's already done it. See, Roddy's like one step ahead of me. I'm so blessed to attract him into my life. He was another manifestation. You know, when I realized that I needed to have someone like Roddy, and now I get emails from people. In fact, I got one this morning saying, it was a text actually from another private mentoring client of mine. She goes, I need to attract my Roddy. And 80 was telling me recently, I need to attract a Roddy. And so I'm very blessed to have Roddy. He's not available for anyone else. He's my Roddy, and he really is a gift. And as you know, from anyone that's been around our organization, like me, like Kayla, we deeply care. We deeply care for you, and we deeply care for your success. Okay, yes, Durga says we all love Roddy. Yes, we do, Durga. And we all love Durga. Okay, let's go to these questions. The first one is from Regina. I read your book, The 8 Proven Secrets to Smart Success, and there it states that success is a result of hard work. I found that to be very discouraging. Isn't there an easy way to reach success without working hard and being burnt out? How do we work hard without knowing the how? Visualization and writing out your dream is not what it is all about in the real world. Isn't enough to just dream or visualize. Hard work is required. All right, that's a fun question. The work is really in the application of the disciplines. That's really where the work is. I mean, we could ask June, like June shared with us before we started the call, right? June, like remember when you first started, if you're willing to share again and you can unmute your line. Like I remember when I'm going to bring both of us into the spotlight. I'm going to bring June in and I'm going to bring Peggy in, add to the spotlight. Okay, there. Oh, what happened? There we are. Okay, great. Yeah, like June, you remember like in the beginning, and I know you had that struggle going on, right? With the old conditioning, the new conditioning. That really is where the hardest part of it is, right?
It is, and that's why you stay in the study. I mean, I've made great accomplishments in the last year, and that's probably from working with you and your team. Um, because I've been in the study. My first Proctor Gallagher course was like 10 years ago, but I saw my most development working one-on-one with you because it really penetrates the brain what you need to do when you're working with somebody.
Yeah, I love that. But I love and appreciate the credit, but the truth is you did the work. I mean, you did, right? Like the transformation occurred because you were willing to follow through with what you were guided to do.
Right,
And
and that's what it takes, is the follow through. You can have goals and dreams. The other thing about this course, being specific about your dreams, because I think I was all over the place for a while. You become
right.
specific, and then you have a better understanding of what your beliefs should be and what your discipline should be.
Yeah, absolutely. So true. So good. Thank you, June. I really appreciate you being willing to share. It's very kind of you. Thank
Well,
you. I think
well,
it's a great example. I think June is a wonderful example, and we could be pulling in people here all day long. In fact, if anyone else wants to share, I would love to have you share. But Regina, like I don't think we want to know that it's going to be hard work per se, but the hardest part is really the conditioning of the mind, and this is why I had created the mind conditioning program, is because I want to show people how to do this daily, right? This is daily work that we're involved with here. But what's fun about it is this, and this is what I love about it, and I'm certain there's people on this call that can relate to this as well, is that when it becomes your discipline, when you've decided, like, I am following through and I'm going to be doing these things and I'm absolutely committed to this, at the beginning, it feels messy and you may go off track. You will go off track. You might go off track a little more than you're on track. But when you keep that laser focus, like when you keep that intention on, I'm doing this, right? You will get there. Like recently, my husband and I watched it was kind of like a documentary on Netflix. And I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name, Jamie. He's a comedian, an actor. He's also a performer. Jamie, what's his last name? Maybe somebody can type his name. Thank you, Jamie Foxx. Thank you. Jamie Foxx. And, in 2024, no, 2023, he ended up having a brain bleed that led to a stroke, and he was hospitalized. And he was in Atlanta at the time. And he said that there were 20 days of his life that he has no memory of. And it was a challenging situation. And he was telling in his documentary, and by the way, if you're going to watch the documentary, just know there's a lot of swearing in it. And so just go past that if that bothers you. But what's fascinating about the documentary is Jamie talked about having to be rehabilitated, that he didn't even know how to walk, after he had a stroke. And we've heard those stories before. In fact, my grandmother on my father's side had a stroke when she was 47 years of age. And same thing, she had to learn to walk again, had to learn to talk again. Oh, Heidi says she watched it. And, that was a challenging time. And Jamie Foxx was talking about when he started working with his therapist, and she was telling him to do certain things. And she would say, look left, look right. Now, what she's doing is she's strengthening his brain, right, to do these certain things so it strengthens his body as well. And she was saying, look left, look right. And he was doing this and he was doing it quickly, but he started feeling dizzy and uncomfortable. And he's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. No, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And he kept doing it. And this is why I loved the question that was asked, because the question really speaks to, Regina's asking the question because it really speaks to the understanding that it may feel hard at first, but when you develop these as your disciplines, it's so much easier. Like I don't have to think or command yourself to do the things because you're habitually doing these things, right? You're already involved in habitual ways of being. You all are. We all are. And sometimes you change it up a little bit. Like I like to change things up a little bit, but all the things that I do as a practice daily are all designed to create the life that I've chosen to live. So those are the habits that you have to create. Jamie says Peggy is one of the most persistent, disciplined people I've ever seen. My husband said the same thing, Jamie. And my husband was in the military for 30 years. He said, you're the most disciplined person I've ever met, which when he said that, I was surprised, but very pleased. But you know why I did that? You know why I chose to be disciplined? Because my life depended on it. Your success depends on it. Like when I was in the hospital, like flat out from radiation poisoning, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Nowadays, they don't keep you in the hospital for any length of time. Like I was really sick, really, really sick. And do you think it was easy for me to plug in earbuds and listen to my Power Life script for hours at a time? Do you think I felt like doing that? Heck no. I didn't feel like doing that. I mean, there was a real tendency to just, wallow in my own self-pity, but I never went there. You can ask my husband. He visited me every day. I didn't go there because I knew that would not serve me. It's certainly not going to produce the results that I want. See, you got to start doing the things daily that produce the results that you want. That's what you have to do. And you know what's fascinating with all of this is that when you learn how to do it, it can apply to anything. Like with June, who's very disciplined now, who's very focused, who's very determined and taking her life to a whole new level. She knows what to do. She knows what to do. Doesn't mean she'll stop learning because I think June's a lifelong learner like me. But it means you're going to apply it because you know, and it's applicable to these things, absolutely applicable to all of these things. So Regina, I'm glad you asked that question. See, I love honesty. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear about your struggles so I can help you. I can address any question that you may have. And if I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. Okay, let's go to the next question here. It is from Jamie. How do we get clarity on the exact goal when there are so many ways to tweak a goal differently and so many great choices and possibilities in the world? Just pick one? Oh, I love this question. Okay, I think there's really two parts to this. And Jamie, you stimulated another idea. You don't have to pick one. You can have as many goals as you want. No limit. There's no limit to what you can create. None. Now, typically what one will do is focus on a top level goal as a priority, but it doesn't mean you don't have all your goals. Like every day I read my goal list. Every day I listen to my Power Life script multiple times. All of my goals are in there. So it's not that I'm not focused on all of them, but I do have a priority goal. And I have created a custom visualization audio that I listen to every day that focuses on that priority goal. All right, so I do have a priority goal. And I wanted to add something to this. This is something else that prompted in my mind when Jamie asked that question about clarity on a goal. So I meant if a goal is to buy a home, buy one in this town or that town. Yes, that's exactly what I felt intuitively as well. How do you decide to tweak the goal? Okay. This is a great question, and I bet Jamie's not the only one that had it. So here's my answer. You may not know exactly which town it's in, but here's what you will know. How does it feel when you're living in a town that you love, right? So I would declare that you're living in your beautiful home, describe it, and it's in the perfect location. Now, where that perfect location is will unfold, okay? Whether it's in the city or outside of the city, whether it's in a condo building or in a house, like whatever that is. You see, we all want a particular outcome or a goal because of what it will bring to us as far as an emotion is concerned. It's not that we want the house. We want what it feels like to live in the house. Do you see what I mean? You see the distinction? So your clarity may not be on the exact town. And if you don't know, don't say. Now, what some people sometimes do is they'll say, okay, I'm so happy and grateful that I own my beautiful home. And then they describe where it is. And then as they're listening to it, maybe it's in their Power Life script or they're looking at their goal, they realize, no, I don't really want to live there. So you change your mind. You make a new decision. However, if you really don't know which town it's going to be in, then describe the home, describe what it feels like, describe that you're in the perfect location, that you love where your home is located. Okay? That will give you the clarity that you need for that goal. That was a great question. Okay, we have another one here. Got a few more actually. Elena. Hi, Peggy. I do a business with salon clinic for anti-aging, slimming, but I would like to do coaching training instead because this business I feel is not for me anymore. How do you step out of the business instead till I become a coach? Love that. Okay, great. We can help you with that as well, Elena. If you want, you can reach out to us and we can schedule a call. Just send an email to support. We can talk about how we can help you with that if you like. So I did the same thing. I incorporated my company in December 1994, but I still worked in the corporate world. So I had a job for a while until I migrated over to my business full time. Now, I was also a single mom at the time, so income was very important to me, and I was taking care of my son and our household expenses. And so what I did was I started my business on the side, and I began doing work with clients in my home. And once I got that rolling, then I cut the cord of the corporate job and I moved into my business full time. And it was scary at first, to be honest. It was scary, but that's the discomfort I was talking about earlier in this event. We will experience discomfort when we're stepping into growth. It's part of the process, but you don't have to stay in discomfort. You just have to recognize that it's fear, usually, doubt sometimes, that's revealing its head, but you can deal with it. You can change it because on the other side of fear is faith, right? You can move to faith by directing your thoughts, by directing where you're choosing to put your consciousness. Okay. All right. Next question. This one is from Jonah. Are there any prompts to help us get clarity on our vision? Clarity prompts. Yeah. How would you like to live your life? What would you love to experience? Where do you want to go? What do you want to accomplish? How do you want to live? How much money do you want? These are all good questions to ask yourself or invite in the answers to having the clarity of what you would love. Ask yourself questions like that. So if I was living my dream life, what would it look like? I mean, it could be one question, it could be multiple questions, it could be all those questions, it could be another question, but questions will help you lead to that. And I just gave you a bunch to use as an example. Okay, Keith is asking a question. What is a comprehensive strategy of using the universe to allow a humble service to humanity of immense magnitude? I'm interested in creating clarity, schools, and humble leadership on the global scale. What is the most direct route, the most effective, and the most ideal? Beautiful. The most direct is through consciousness, and that is through the clarity of what does that really mean? So, Keith, were you to, and I'm not expecting you to answer this question, but this could be something you're working on in the next 22 hours. So, were you to be living your life where you're of service to the universe, to humanity, of immense magnitude? You don't even have to know what that is or exactly what you're doing, but you are being of service to the world in great ways. I'll give you an example of that, Keith, because it's very much in alignment with who I am. This is something that I have here on my desk. I had this little block made up. It says, my purpose. I am here to make a positive and beneficial contribution to the lives of hundreds of millions of people. So let's think about that. So similar to you, Keith, because I know that is absolutely charities. There's another example. For sure, you could see yourself, supporting a charity, creating your own foundation. If that's what you want to do, it could be the Keith Foundation. Absolutely. It could be something like that. But when we think about this, like my own purpose in life, which is really the way you are, making a positive and beneficial contribution to the lives of hundreds of millions of people, how is that going to happen? I don't know. I don't have to know. I'll keep doing my work. Like when I think about this book that I've just finished writing, The Moment of Creation, I'm just reviewing it right now, finished writing that book. I wrote that book to be the greatest self-help book ever written. And I wrote it that way with that in mind. That was my intention. I'm going to write the greatest self-help book written because there are a lot of them out there and I've read them, right? I've read hundreds and if not thousands of books. So my intention was to create the greatest self-help book ever written. And I see it that way. I see it as a success. I see it on the New York Times bestseller list. This is what I hear it. I declare it. It's in my ear every day as I'm listening to my nighttime script and my Power Life script daily, 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 reinforcing the difference that this makes in my life. How that's going to happen is how that's going to happen. And yes, I do know a thing or two about book marketing, of course, because this is what I've been doing for many, 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 many years. But things happen that are quite often unexpected that we don't expect. Like when I began learning about book marketing back in 2002 and started to apply what I was learning, and I was doing internet marketing and creating success, I started getting people like Robin Sharma, Marianne Williamson, Debbie Ford, Wayne Dyer, Neil Donna Walsh, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton. All these people started coming to me going, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. Marcy Shimoff was a private client of mine. All of these clients were coming to me saying, help me. And I remember at first when I started to get the request, I started thinking, that's not the business I'm in. And then I thought, your purpose is to make a positive, beneficial contribution in this world. Maybe it is helping Neil Donna Walsh. Maybe it is guiding Marcy Shimoff. Maybe it is working with them. So Eva wrote in the chat box, a school. And Doctor of Symbology just wrote, schools share knowledge, right? So what happens is, Keith, you don't have to know the way. You don't have to have the solution. Somebody else may have it for you and tell you. It's going to come to you. It's going to be revealed to you. And it's revealed to you when you're in alignment with that is what you're already doing, right? It comes to you when you're aligned. Like, I'm Keith, who is making this magnificent, immense contribution in the world in wonderful ways. And knowing that that is who you are, and that's how you're choosing to live your life, the way will be revealed to you. So have faith, Keith. It might have just been typed in the chat box on the right-hand side. So you'll definitely know. Jamie wrote in the chat box, thank you, Jamie, for putting that there. Take it one step at a time, one action at a time, one portion at a time. Make a list of actions along the path, break it down while keeping the full vision. Action is very important for sure. And, but sometimes people are doing things that aren't necessarily contributing to what it is that they want to do. But that's okay. That can happen too. I mean, there may be things that you do that like, nah, that didn't do it, or that didn't work, or, okay, I thought it was going to be this. This is why being detached from the outcome is also very important. In fact, we were reading about that in Club Achieve this morning. Detachment, the law of detachment, right? You become detached from it. You see, we get to choose. Us as a human being here on this planet, we've been given a great gift. And the gift that we've been given is the gift of choice. So we get to choose. And what's so exciting about all of this is that if you do declare a goal and you do manifest it in your life and you realize, nah, that's not what I want, change your mind, change your approach. I was thinking about a story about a woman who had a desire to have a home on the ocean. And she declared that as a goal and claimed it as an outcome. And she ended up finding a place and moved into it, but she wasn't clear on the aspects of the home, what it was like, etc. And one of the things that she found is because it was so close to the shoreline that when the waves would hit, they would end up causing like water on her window. Not a big deal, but it's salt water. What does salt water do? Stain, right? She found her windows always dirty and stained, and it was frustrating and noisy sometimes. And she realized, should have been a little more clear on exactly what I wanted, right? So this is an example of that. It's like, Keith, you're somebody who has a grand vision. And I love that. And I love serving you. And I love how committed you are. Like Keith is one of the people that went through our mind conditioning program when it was the previous version and had experienced amazing shifts within a relatively short period of time. But he was laser focused. Did you want to share something, Keith? Okay, I'm going to bring Keith into the spotlight. He just waved at me. Okay, if you can unmute your line.
Yeah, so I got immediate results within 3 days. So all and I also think the quick fix book is in the mind conditioning accelerator, and so I use mind conditioning accelerator to quickly get myself into alignment whenever I need it.
Good for you.
And also, as I find I continue with your courses, every session, every lesson is like a quick fix. So
Love it.
whenever I have a challenge, all I have to do is just go into one of the courses, watch the video, and I get back on track.
Love it. Yeah. The truth is, we're all going to get off track. Everybody gets off track. I get off track. But you got to be aware and understand. I think one of the valuable things, Keith, is that from getting in the study, you now have a different level of understanding. Because when you can understand it, then you can do something about it, right?
Yeah, and what I love about it is the instructions are so simple, so easy to understand. You can just reflect on it and like, what would I need to do about this situation? Then do it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So good. And it really is like, I think about Keith and the things that you do and, the accomplishments that you make and the growth that you're involved with and your commitment to this is that you need to go look in the mirror and say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you to yourself for making the decisions to do the things that you're doing. Like, I really believe in you, Keith. Like, I think you're incredible. I love your level of commitment. I love your enthusiasm. And that's one of the fun things about you is your level of enthusiasm.
Yeah, it. I always have enthusiasm as a student, but when I'm a master, I'm very serious.
Well, this is your life we're talking about, right?
Yeah, we got to be serious about our life.
Yeah.
I I just love the courses because it offers step-by-step guidance, and I consider it more of like life instruction. It's kind of
Yeah.
like in Savvy Wisdom Book 1, when you understand how magic works, the magic disappears, but when you
Yes.
learn about how life works, the magic begins.
Right. Yeah, absolutely true.
And the instructions are all about life. And so it I could actually even go further and say it's the art of salvation, like art as a field.
Yeah. Love it. That's so good. All right. Thank you, Keith. I really appreciate you. Thank you for sharing. That's so wonderful. Oh my God, he's so wonderful. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it a wrap. There aren't any more questions today. We're going to call it a wrap for today. You guys have an assignment to do, and I'd love for you to do it. Create your vision for 2025. We've got a lot more tomorrow. We're going to talk about the great mindset reset. That's what we're going to be talking about, reprogramming your mind, the neuroscience behind, building these emotional habits, shattering the doubt, building the confidence, etc. So that's really what tomorrow's session is about. And then we have another session on Thursday as well. So check out the mind conditioning mastery program as well. Would love to see all of you in there. I absolutely recommend it for everybody who's on this class right now. And the Destinies Mastermind you can check out. Or if any of you are ready to start working in a private mentoring capacity, we're here to serve. So the links are here. We will be sending out a replay as well. And the links will be in the replay or on the replay page, and they'll be in an email for you to check them out. But thank you for being here today. Thank you for allowing me to serve you. I really love all of you. I love serving you, and Happy New Year. It's New Year's Eve, everyone. So have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, 10 a.m. Thanks, Rob.